Great. Okay, so we'll get started. Okay, guys, so we're going to do just a little mobility just for our back. So we're just going to stand in a sort of hip distance, feet are hip distance apart. And we're just going to hold the hands just behind the back. Okay, so by dropping the shoulders down into that position, you're just allowing the body just to relax, give a little wriggle out. And then we're going to take the arms overhead. So then we reach up. That's it. And again, we're just going to do a breath in. Open up the chest a little bit and then bring the arms back down. Great. And again, so drop the hands behind the back. So we just relax into that position. That opens up the shoulders here. And then again, we'll take the arms overhead, open out, relax into that position, breathing in and breathing out. So it's just allowing that body just to open and kind of mobilize through the spine. We're going to take the hands just down onto the knees in this position here. And then we're going to do a little kind of like a yoga kind of cat to camel stretch. So we're just arching the back, looking through towards the belly button. And then sticking the tailbone out. So we're just mobilizing the spine. So again, especially if you've been sitting up to now, sitting or driving a lot, we just want to get the spine kind of mobilized. That's it. And again, just moving through those positions. Great. Okay, so again, back to standing. We're just going to do some shoulder circles. So just opening out and again, just working into the back. That's it, great. Okay, we'll get moving in a minute. And then just one last little hold. We're just going to do a scapular hold, so shoulder blades. We're going to bring the fists into the ribs, tuck the elbows in, and then just a little hold. And what we want to make sure is that you're anchored through here. So we're not letting the back arch. We've got a little tuck in. We're just squeezing into the shoulder blades and just holding it there. So again, just again, activating into those shoulder blade muscle, into the back muscles. Good. And then releasing off. Great. Okay. So that's just kind of got the back mobilized. As I say, especially if you've been sitting, then we're just going to come into a straight knee, a basic knee lift. Again, with the arms, you can either add in overhead, you can keep them just shoulder height. So whichever kind of, however active you're feeling right now. Good, good. So just those knee lifts, pulling through. And then we're just going to take the legs wide and we're just going to do our little tap across. So again, just thinking about reaching out now, little stretch across. And again, you can reach right round to the wall. So again, if you're feeling mobile, getting things just warmed up and moving. That's it, good. Great. And then just that bigger arm circle. So just stretching up to the ceiling. Again, if you need to, you can just keep it slow, keep it a bit smaller. And then again, just bringing the feet in now just into a narrow, also about shoulder width apart again. And we're just going to work with our squat position. So we're just dropping the hips back and down. Keep the weight into the heels. Great. And again, if you need to, you can keep that a little bit higher. But what you want to make sure is that your hips are sitting back and down. So again, just warming up through there. We're going to take the feet a little bit wider on this one. And then again, drop down into that squat. So now we're opening out the hips a little bit. Keep the weight into the heels. And again, we've got a little squeeze at the top. That's so great. And again, sitting back and down, keeping the chest high. And making sure that bum cheeks are sitting back behind you. Lovely, good. And then just one last little bit just to get moving. Take the hands, so the hands are clasped in the center. We're going to do a rotation, but we're just going to start off slow time. So we're going to draw the shoulders back and down. I want you to rotate and a little pause. Come back to center, we rotate and a little pause. And again, so maybe now just start to speed that move up a little bit. So moving side to side, and we're thinking about pivoting sort of on our spine, if you like. So we're not letting the body kind of bend round. We want to keep nice and aligned, arms out nice and straight, and then now take it into a little bit more of a swing and keep the eyes forward. So again, the body is just rotating underneath. You want to feel a little squeeze into the abs, maybe into the glutes as well here, just to go through that movement. Oh. Okay, guys, and then release that off. So now we're going to go into a hip flexor stretch. So this one we're going to do standing. Again, if you need to balance or, light fingertip touch on something, you can do. So we're going to lift the weight off the back heel, just a little tuck under through here. And again, you want to make sure the feet are quite wide this way as well. And then we're just going to take the same leg that we're stretching. We want to take that arm up. So we're now increasing the stretch down through the hip flexor. We want to then do a little lift and open. So what you're doing is from here, you just do a little lean. And again, you just want to feel that stretch go through here. You can increase slightly as well by bringing the arm behind you. But again, just go to where you feel the stretch. And then we're going to release down and switch to the other side. So again, take that foot back, lift the weight off the back heel, take the arm up. And then again, just open out the shoulder a little bit. So take the arm just behind you, a little lean and reach across. So again, you can just do that little lean and we're just then feeling a bit more of a stretch, a bigger stretch going right down through the front. So we're just going to switch sides. So again, not too much, obviously, I'm talking through, but not too much of a hold. We just want to, again, feel that really nice stretch. You can get a little tuck with that hip as well underneath. And then release off. And again, then straight through here. So if you're finding this muscle is really tight, okay, this is something that you'll need to be doing on a daily basis just to get this stretched off. Okay, one more time each side. So again, and reaching up. So again, once you've got the position, just that little lean, stretch over, and again, switch back again. So arm over, tuck the hip under, and then just feel that stretch through there. Great. Okay, so that should feel quite nice now. Everything kind of loosened off a little bit. We're going to just do a little bit with balance to start with. So we're going to do single leg balance. We go down into a knee bent position. Okay, so from here, so you're standing on one leg. We're going to drop down, sitting the hips back, and you want to feel a lot of work now going on through that leg. So we sit back into it. Okay, so we're sitting into it here. The chest will drop forward slightly. And again, just make sure that you're not rounding into it. You want to sit the hip back. And then we're going to imagine that you're in the middle of a clock. So now you've got one leg. You're going to point at the leg out to 12. And then you're going to move it round either to the 3 or the 9. Okay, so again, whichever leg you're on. And again, staying balanced in that knee bent position. Just taking it through. We'll do a couple more. That's it, great. And then release down, switch to the other side. So again, drop through, take the leg out into the front, making sure you're sitting back, just that chest drop forward slightly. And then again, we're taking it round. So from that 12 o'clock position, and then round to the 9 or the 3. And again, really straighten and reach that leg out. Fab. Okay, one more time. And then release down. Great. So we're back to our first leg. So again, just taking the leg out in the front. And this time we're going to take it a little bit past now at 3 or 9 o'clock. So maybe to the 4 or the 5. Okay, so we just now take it round and a little twist round and then come back in. So again, the aim is to stay nice and balanced just with that little rotation. So everything should be kind of holding. We're going to do 2 more this side. Good. And again, you should feel everything sort of really firing up just to really hold. Again, a lot of work going on through the ankles. So hold it through there. And again, so if you do need to lightly touch, you can do. So you could have a chair or the wall, or you can just do a little touch down to balance in the center. So again, we've got 2 more. And again, rotating round. Ooh, this is my wobbly side. That's it, great. Release off. Okay, so again, really important for the ankles like to get working and balance. Okay, so we're going to hop down onto the floor. So again, if we grab our mats. Okay, so looking at some bridge work. in. Good. Okay, so we're coming down onto the mat, just down onto your back, and we're going to just go through a little bit of technique just for our bridge. So we're going to bring the feet in so that your heels are, you can kind of just brush the fingertips with the heels. Okay, so they need to be quite close into the bottom. And then from here, we're going to do a little pelvic tilt. So the tilt basically brings your hip bones closer to ribs, and then we're going to lift and squeeze. So you do your tilt, you lift and squeeze, and we're going to do just a little hold at the top, again, just to get into position. So as you're at the top, you're still keeping that tilt, squeezing the glutes together, elbows are anchored down, and again, you're pushing your knees towards your toes. So what you want to feel, obviously legs and lower back are working, but the main overload is happening with these glutes. Okay, and then just release that back down. So again, we're going to tuck and tighten. So you tilt your hips, so your hip bones come closer to ribs. You're going to lift off, still holding that tuck and tighten. So what you want to feel is like your bum cheeks are kind of really clenched. We're really tight in together. Again, lots of other things working, but we want this definite overload on those glutes underneath. And then release down. Lovely. Okay, so now we're just going to do a sort of a set through with the glute bridge work. So we're going to start off just with an with the bridge hold. I'm going to time 30 seconds. So we're going to hold our bridge in that position for 30. The next 30, we then lift and lower. Okay, if you feel any overload on the lower back, you just want to come out of the position and then take it up again. Maybe have a little stretch out. Okay, so we're going to start in 10 seconds. So as I say, the first move is we're going to do a hold. We then do bridge lifts, and we then do a bridge march. So again, if you keep watching through, we'll go through those. Okay, so tuck and tighten, lift and hold. And again, you're pushing those knees towards the toes. So you want to really feel those glute muscles are really activating. There's no overload in your lower back. So your lower back is working, but not overloading. Okay, the main muscles that we're thinking about on these glute bridges is these glute muscles. Okay, so bum cheeks. Again, anchor with the elbows. You can lift the chest and open up through the shoulders. Great. So now we drop down and lift. So drop down and lift. Quite a quick tempo if you can. So again, that drive up, pushing through the heels. And again, thinking about pushing knees towards toes. Keep with the tuck and that clench position. So great. So again, we're thinking about really activating into those glute muscles. Lovely. Good, good. Okay, guys, we're going to keep the hips lifted again. This time we can add in a march. So quite slow time. So we can add in this march here. If the march is too much, then you can give me a little hip rock. So a hip rock is where you just activate into one glute and then the other. If you're doing the march, make sure that the hips don't drop. Okay, so the hips are lifted. So good, good. And again, great. Okay, so have a little release off. If you need to stretch off lower back a little bit, you can just hug the knees in, or you can do like a little side to side wriggle. Again, just release off, and then we're going to go through another set. Okay, so again, so elbows are tucked in, elbows are anchored in. And then again, we start with that lift and hold. So remember, keeping the feet in close, keep that tuck and tighten. So draw abs in, tighten through the belly button, bring hips closer to ribs, and then we're going to take it up and hold. So again, now that the body knows what it's doing, you can just work just that little bit harder. So you want to think about kind of pushing through your comfort zone a little bit, where you're tightening up the bum cheeks, keeping tight through the belly button, holding it there. Again, you'll get work through legs, so thighs and hamstrings will be working as well, but we really want to keep that tuck under. Okay, so again, using the elbows to anchor the upper body. Great, so now we do our lift and lowers. And again, as you're lifting and lowering, try not to let those knees drop out to the side. You want to keep the knees straight, which we can go through other sort of variations as we go through, but this is just the body weight, so we're not using any bands or anything on these ones. So again, really tuck and tighten. If you start to feel those hamstrings take over, you can, so hamstrings, so that's down the back of the legs. Great. Lift and hold, and then add in that march. Okay, so if you start to feel the backs of the legs take over, you can have a little drop out, maybe have a quick stretch on those hamstrings. And then when you take it back up into the bridge, you then want to make sure you're really focused on those glutes. Maybe not lift as high, so keep it a little bit lower. Okay, so these glutes now should be sort of talking to you. Great, and then release off. So again, if you're feeling it into the hamstrings, just have a little stretch, maybe one leg, and then just take it up, just so that we're stretching off the back of the leg. So what we're telling the body is that we don't want these muscles to work. We want these ones to be working and holding, but not overloading. So again, have a little stretch off, or again, lower back if you feel that's working just that little bit too much. Maybe a little side to side. And we've got one more set through, guys. So again, heels close to bottom, lift and hold. So again, if you're feeling the backs of the legs or lower back, you can maybe drop the hips slightly and then focus on the tuck. Okay, so with the tuck, what that means is the abs are holding, hip bones closer to ribs, and you're really squeezing into those glutes. Okay, so again, think about that clenching kind of action. Okay, so there should be definite overload in those bum cheeks. Great, okay, so then from here, we've got our lift and lowers. So again, lift and squeeze. Okay, so remember, we're not necessarily lifting massively high. Again, if you're feeling hamstrings, just keep it a little bit lower, but focus on the tilt. Okay, so focusing on that tilt. So you're staying a little bit lower. Otherwise, if you've got good sort of glute action, you give me a full bridge lift. So great. Okay, so hold at the top. And again, we go into that marching position. If again, the march is too much here, you can just give me a little hip rock. That's it. Keeping those hips lifted, and don't let the hips drop or tilt. Okay, so again, the main aim is to keep the hips and the pelvis stable while these legs are moving. That's it. Well done, guys. Okay, this is going to be our last set through. Lovely. And then release off. So have a little stretch off anything that's kind of tightened up. So remember, so lower backs, hamstrings, anything like that. So good. Okay, and then we'll come back up. We're now going to work in our all fours position. So with our, so onto hands and knees. Okay, so we're looking at sort of a bit of ab work now. So again, I'll just give you the variation. So if you can, we're working in this position as much as we can. You can take it down onto elbows, so you can take it into this position. You can use a chair or sofa. So again, if wrists, a bit too much pressure through the wrists, you can come to here or to here, okay? Or again, chair, whichever you've got. Okay, or even if knees, you can take it to standing, but you're going to need maybe sort of a slightly higher sort of, a bench or something to go onto if you need to take it to standing. Okay, so from here, we're just going to be in a nice box position. So you've got your shoulder, elbow, and wrist in line through here. And then you've got a line between your hip and your knee. So again, for some people, you might just need to, sometimes you can be a little bit far apart. So you just need to bring those knees in and then holding through there. And again, we're just going to do a couple of back stretches in order just to ascertain where our neutral spine is. So we arch up, we dip down, and then at some point in the middle there, that's where your neutral spine is. Okay, so we're going to arch up all the way up, look through towards the belly button and come back through. And then again, all the way up and all the way back down. And now come to rest at some point in between those two extremes. Okay, this is also good if you have got mirror or even your camera that you can see. So you want to be nice and flat across your shoulders and your tailbone. Okay, so it's really important. You don't want that tailbone tipped. So imagine that you're balancing a glass of water on that tailbone. So it has to stay flat. And then this helps with this, just this neutral spine position. Okay, so that's where it's in its natural curve. So from here, we're going to just do a couple of tummy holds. So you'll let the tummy muscles relax. It's horrible, I know. So the tummy muscles release. And then now we're going to draw in and up. So think about using pelvic floor muscles. Draw in lower abs, belly button, upper abs, lift and hold. And you're holding that position without rounding anything else. Okay, and then relax down. So again, we're going to just think about rejigging our position. So make sure you're in that flat position. As you draw the abs in and up, you want to make sure you're not rounding. So it's just the abs lifting. You keep the back in neutral position. So again, let the tummy muscles hang. Take a breath in, breathe out, and just draw those tummy muscles in. So again, think about pelvic floor, little hold there, lower abs, belly button, upper abs, all lift and tightens, but without rounding. So imagine that glass of water has to stay balanced on the pelvis. Okay, great, and release. So again, we're going to use that hold now. So again, just release off, loosen off the wrists if you need to. So we're going to work with a horse stance, which is where we have one opposite hand and opposite leg off the floor, and we're going to do a stretch out. So this is where we balance into this position. Okay, so again, we'll go through the points. So same with the tummy hold. So that's what we want to make sure, that lifts and holds. We'll take one arm, one leg away. I have just set this time actually. And we're just going to do a 10-second hold on each side. Okay, there. I've built in a couple of seconds as well as we change sides and we re-hold. And then we're just going to go through, guys. So we're going to aim to start, we're going to aim to do 6 kind of reps through. And that's with no break. So that means the abs are lifting and holding. If you feel the abs release, you need to just come out of the position and reset. Okay, so holding it there into position, hold the abs in and take the arm and leg away. So opposite sides. So you're taking that thumb turned up to the ceiling. Okay, then we switch sides. Keep the abs holding and move through. So it's a really smooth transition. And again, we're working on keeping your hips level, facing down towards the floor. And again, switch through. So we're just going to keep switching sides. Stretch the leg out behind you. That's it. Lovely. And again, that thumb is turned up towards the ceiling. Switch again. Oh, I think I'm losing count already here. That's it. And again, the abs are tight and holding. You want to keep this move absolutely steady. And again, switch again. Okay, so I think we've got one more time each side. Now, if you're doing this correctly and working those core muscles up underneath, okay, you might start to get a little bit of a shake. Or again, it's you want to make sure that this is hard work. You're tightening up through the belly button and holding that position. Great, and then release down. Just sit the hips back. Have a little stretch out through there. Lovely, good. Okay, so we're going to come back into position. We're going to change it slightly. So this time we're now going to add in a movement. So this is where, again, we hold and balance. Then we're going to bring in elbow to knee and then press away. Okay, but nice and slow and controlled. We'll do 5 on one side and 5 on the other. Okay, so again, into position. Make sure shoulders are flat. Tailbone is flat and you've got that neutral spine. Again, draw in and up. So draw the abs up underneath. Hold in that position. Take one arm, one leg away. And then just count me 5 curl in. So you're crunching in. Elbow comes to knee. And then a proper straight press away. So you're moving between those 2 ends. So proper, good, strong stretch away. Lovely. And then 5. Good. And then come back down, switch to the other side. So again, stabilize your position to start with. And then again, crunch in and hold it. And then press away and hold. And again, that thumb turns up to the ceiling. Great. And again, get that nice squeeze in. Okay, 5 on that side. Lovely. And release down. Great. Okay, guys, take it over onto your back. And again, still just working with the abs one last little bit. We're just going to work with a pelvic tilt move. So we're just rocking the hips backwards and forwards. If you place your fingertips onto your belly button, you want to feel that your tummy, your belly button is tightening and flattening underneath your fingertips. Okay, so as you tilt in, what you don't want to feel is that the abs are pushing up into the hand. Okay, you want to work to flatten and tighten. So again, just those little rocks. So it's just a really basic move, just rocking in and releasing. So great. And then again, what we'll do is we're going to do an ab hold. So we're going to now tuck and tighten and then hold in that position. So again, your back is now pressing down towards the floor and you're holding it there. So you should feel a little bit of contact with the back onto the floor. And again, the abs are holding through here. So now we'll do our march position, but holding that position. Okay, so we're just going to lift one leg and then the other, and the lower back stays in contact with the floor. Great. Okay, don't want it to lift off. We're just going to do a few extras of these. And again, over time, what you want to feel is that those abs are now having to work and hold and flatten. And again, just keep the fingertips on the belly button to make sure it's staying in position. Great. And then release that off. And again, just relax off the upper body. So from here, we're now going to do the opposite way. So we've got both legs are lifted. Now again, this might just be enough for you to hold there. So again, the same thing as where we're drawing the abs in and pressing the back down. Okay, that might be enough for your abs. We're then going to do a tap down. If when you go to tap down, the back lifts, okay, it just means that the abs are not strong enough to hold in that position. So you want to go back to the move we've just done. We're going to aim for 20 toe taps, okay? So lift the legs off, tuck and tighten the hips. So again, we've got that contact underneath the back. Okay, so you're holding there, legs are relaxed. And then now we tap the foot down to the floor and then coming back up. So again, make it really intentional. Your focus is on those abs, that pelvic tilt. And again, quite slow with the tap. And again, if the back lifts off, that's when you bring it down. Okay, so that's 10 there. We're going to do 10 more. Just really making sure you're keeping those hips tilted, back in position. Take it down to that previous position if you need to. I think we've got 4 more here. Don't let that back lift off. And then the last one. Great, lovely. And then just hug into the chest. Okay, so you should have felt, hopefully, feeling that kind of nice and tight and holding through here. Okay, so we're just going to come up to sitting. And we've just got to the last little bit. So we're just going to do a quick stretch out. So we're going to sit in position here with our legs at 90 degrees. Okay, so you've got a 90-degree angle here at the front and a 90-degree angle at the back. Don't worry, if you can't quite get into this position, I'm going to give you an alternative seated. Okay, so don't worry if you can't quite get into it here. And then from here, we're going to lean the body over that front leg. And you should feel a little stretch going through that glute, maybe into the back, even down the inner thigh here. Okay, so if you need to, you can come to a seated position and you just want to take leg over. Okay, so you can stay in that position, or you can even do this down on the floor if you wanted to just do the cross leg. Okay, so we're just stretching out through there. Okay, now that we're in position, move your body. So either move your body closer over to your foot or closer to your knee, and it will just change the angle of that stretch. And with that, then you'll find kind of where the tighter sort of area is. And again, just breathe into it. And then releasing that off. Great. And then we switch sides. So again, into position, or if you need to take this to a seated or lying position. So 90 degrees at the front, 90 degrees at the back. And then that gives us that 90 degrees in the center. And then again, we're just leaning over. So again, as far as you can go down, what you're doing is pushing the chest out and over. So again, trying not to round too much. You're pressing down towards the floor. Again, just relax into it there a little bit. And then you can move your body. So either over towards the foot or over towards the knee will just change the angle of that stretch a little bit. Great. Okay. And then just relax that one off. Lovely. Okay, guys, we've come to the end. So thanks again for coming to class. I'll see you all again. Thank you.